What's going on, guys? It's your host, your boy, George Mackay, the one and only head honcho here at MLW Rewind. And I can never do this alone because I couldn't do it alone because me just talking to you guys for 30 minutes would be boring as fuck. So I found the most uninteresting person next to myself, and that's the one and only Uncle Bobby B.
That's me. You pretty much nailed it. The second most uninteresting person around here.
What's going on, brother?
Oh, just living the dream over here. And I fucking hate when people say that. I live in the dream. Ugh, fuck off. Just enjoying this week's episode of Fusion. We had some stuff going on and we had some stuff set up, and I think we should just get the fuck into it.
Let's do it. Well, right off the hop, we find out that MLW.com broke the news that CD's office was broken into, and it was broken into by the Samoan SWAT team.
Okay, I have a new goal.
Sorry?
I have a new goal.
Okay.
I would like to play guitar and sing with Juicy for now.
Absolutely. Those two had some good harmonies. They really fucking so good. So they break in, Juicy and Jacob Fatu, and they're searching around the office, they're looking at stuff, they're making fun of his portrait, and then Juicy finds CD's guitar. So he picks it up, he starts strumming a tune, and quote unquote, the lyrics of the song were beautiful, singing, "We gonna whoop your ass and fuck you up."
It was great.
I was
in tears.
Absolutely epic. And then they stole a whole bunch of shit, some money, some coins, CD's, I guess you say, chalice, if you will. He had this silver cup, I'm assuming he drinks wine out of. They also stole that red cat that's on his desk. Juicy's like, how much do I get for this for eBay? How much can I get for this on eBay? So definitely a great way to kick off the show. And then right after the intro, we get CD's back in his office. He's trying to straighten up the mess, I guess, that was left behind. He's looking for stuff. And then he makes a very strange phone call saying, whoever to on the other end of the phone, saying, I don't care what you've done or what you're doing. Stop everything and get over here. I want to burn the Samoan SWAT team to the ground.
Yeah.
So I guess we're going to see somebody that's going to come in and challenge the SWAT team. I'm not sure who, but there's a couple ideas and options that are rolling through my head for sure.
But do you think it'll be somebody that's already existing or somebody coming from outside?
I think it may be somebody coming from outside. Somebody that they're going to set up kind of like a, what do you call it? A mercenary for hire, if you will. Not so much like a Madskrueger, if you will, but somebody that will come in and try to end the SWAT team very, especially, honestly, when he made the phone call, the first person that came to mind was Joseph Samayal.
Hey, he's been quiet on social media too. Wouldn't mind seeing him come back.
Absolutely. He's been quiet on social media, and there is still that unraveled storyline, if you will, or sorry, not unraveled, untold portion of the Contra story of how he just disappeared and started hightailing it through Europe on the run, apparently, was the quote unquote thing from Alicia Autut's expose on where is Contra.
Well, I know he's also been out listening to some music, making some food. Samayal's a bit of a renaissance man outside of the ring.
Yeah, and also doing a lot of great stuff with PCW out there in Cali. That's his
PCW Ultra.
Yeah, great promotion out there. If you ever get a chance, check it out. I haven't been to a show myself, but I know a couple podcasters. Shout out to Circle Debate. They go to PCW all the time. I believe they're affiliated with them, and they really do get to see some top-notch action out there. So Joseph Samayal, if you're ever on the West Coast, check out PCW Ultra, because from what I've seen clips and stuff like that, they put on one hell of a show. They've had everybody there. Fatu, Samayal, Vicky Vixen, I believe she's there as well. A lot of great talent out there. So yeah, if you're ever in the West Coast, check out PCW Ultra. So Taya interrupts that phone call and says, I've got the AAA, women's champion, if you will, but I've got my eye on the MLW Featherweight Championship. And I don't want Strange Sangre, which is the Gangrel faction, if you will. I don't want them getting involved. I want you to do everything you can to keep this match clean. And CD says, I'll do my best. And then she kind of takes a shot at CD. She says, well, you can take the Boyle Heights. You can take the boy out of Boyle Heights. But you can't take the Boyle Heights out of the boy. And CD did not like that very much. As soon as Taya left, he started yelling at his minions. But
he also noted how she called him Dario. And he's like, it's Cesar.
It's Cesar. Yeah.
That made me pop. That throwback to the Lucha Underground stuff.
Absolutely. A lot of little throwback spots here and there, a lot of clues kind of unraveling into what we might see down the line, like little Easter eggs being planted, if you will, seeds. So right off the bat, first match of the night, Gangrel versus Bud Heavy. This one was over in under 2 minutes. Bud Heavy tried to get an offense going, but really with Dax and Eriks and Mini Abismo and Holodead on the outside, it was a 5-on-1. The Impaler DVD was hit by Gangrel, and it's a 1-2-3. And then it's weird. The Sangre pulled Bud Heavy out of the ring, started dragging him to the back. I figured they might be taking him to be a new member of the Sangre, but the cameras kind of cut out before we could get that fully. But I thought I wouldn't mind seeing a dark Bud Heavy. Like, instead of drinking beer all the time, maybe he drinks like whiskey.
It would be interesting to see, definitely. And I think is Sangre, does that mean blood? I could be wrong.
I tried to Google it, but again, not really sure. I'm just happy I said it right. I'm very excited about the fact that I said Sangre right. So yeah, I'm good. It was a win for me today.
Sangre does mean blood.
Okay, so Strange Blood is the name of
Strange Blood, which makes sense and sounds
absolute
cool.
sense. Gangrel still rocks the chalice, and he still drinks the blood, and he still got the fangs. So it makes a lot of sense. But I guess at least now we have a name for this faction. We never really knew what it was. We were just kind of calling it the New Brood because we weren't sure of the name. We made it ourselves. But Strange Sangre, I'm not opposed to it. I like it. And the fact that they've now added Mini Abismo, I'm interested to see where this goes.
Hell yeah. I'm down with this. I think we need factions. I love factions. I think they've got a cool one here because it's kind of the nature of it is just like it's a hodgepodge of all the weird outcasted kind of dark gimmick. Like all those people are easily thrown in there. Almost like an oddities mixed with the ministry.
I was just,
you know what I say? You know what I mean?
Yeah. The oddities. So, fuck, I remember those guys. They were horrible.
I fucking loved them. But like, I like this idea. I think it's cool. I think it's got a lot of potential to carry forward. They've got a good mix of men, women, lucha, veterans, new people. Like it's cool. Let's roll with this. Let's see what happens.
And they got a gimp.
Yeah,
they got a gimp. All right, and after that match, we get a recap of the beef between CD and Fatu, kind of how it started, where it is now, where it's going, and with that, they announced that next week we get the Jacob Fatu versus Madskrueger in the Weapons of Mass Destruction match. That's a mouthful.
And that is intense. That's got some. We're talking military.
Yeah, they announced the stipulations. Yeah, there's going to be military grade weapons around the ring, crates full of them, and they're allowed to utilize these weapons within the match. I'm not sure how this is going to play out, but I mean, remember the bunkhouse brawl, if you will? We had hay, we had a pitchfork, we had the thing that Gangrel carries. Oh, what's it called? The sickle. The sickle.
Yes,
yeah.
Sickle.
Thank you. All that kind of stuff around. So I'm assuming this is going to have something like, when you think of weapons of mass destruction, you're not going to put a loaded rocket launcher there, but a shell of a rocket launcher would hurt. Not add the rocket to it, but the shell of a rocket launcher would fucking hurt somebody if you were to crack their head over it.
So, well, yeah, absolutely.
No, I believe that would be probably what we're going to see.
Well, let's see it then.
Well, it's going to happen. It's going to happen next week.
I can't wait. I'm stoked. Let's go. LFG.
So intense today. My God. All right. Then we know that the Featherweight Championship main event, obviously tonight, is Taya and Holodead. And next week, we get an announcement that Myron Reed, Casey Navarro, and Eriks will face off in a triple threat for the middleweight championship. So Casey gets kind of the shot he was looking for last week, but it is a triple threat. And Myron does excel very well in triple threats. I don't really see him not retaining, but I also see now that the feud with Enzo, I guess, is done. They're trying to focus on Casey Navarro and give the kid a little bit of a push. Not necessarily a bad thing. I actually think for once we'll get to see him in a decent match because he'll be in there with some talent like Eriks and like Myron Reed. It won't be the squash matches that we've seen or the injured before the bell ring matches. Like, we'll actually get to see Casey Navarro do some flippy shit, which would be nice for a change.
Yeah.
Anything to add on that, or?
I'm fucking excited for this match. First of all, Myron Reed is amazing. We don't get to see him enough lately. I think this has a lot of potential to be a wild match through. And like you said, Myron really excels in these three-way dances. He's got a lot of awareness. So I think it's going to be interesting. I'm stoked for it. I still think Myron's going to retain, but let's see it.
I'm pretty sure. I'm quite confident that Myron's going to retain. And now we get to the second match on the docket tonight, which is a three-way dance, if you will, or a triple threat for the tag titles. But we've also got a fourth team out there. That's right. There is now a Spanish announce table, and it's Los Maximos, and they're just at a table. There's no monitors. There's no nothing. I don't even know if the headsets that they had on were really plugged in, but nonetheless, we have a Spanish announce team of Los Maximos, and they're out there obviously to scout the other three teams in this division because it is very, very thin. So we have Power and Hustle defending against 5150 and defending against the VEs, the Von Eriks, if you will. Now, the best part about this was before the match, they announced, they showed Alicia finally doing backstage interviews again, the interview queen, and she came out and introduced herself as the interview queen / one half of the Clout couple with her man, Richard Holiday, and then began to ask the Von Eriks one question only. Why are you friends with Alex Hammerstone? To which they both said, this has nothing to do with the match. We've noticed you've changed a lot. I haven't changed. He'll lie to you. He'll deceive you. He'll never have your back. And to which Ross Von Erich, the coolest thing he's ever said in an interview or promo, seems like you have your own agenda. This interview is over. And she goes, you can't leave. You don't call the shots. And the Von Eriks just walked away. So Alicia Altout, the one half of the Clout couple, not getting any love from anyone else in the locker room.
Did I mishear that they said she threatened legal action because she wasn't getting enough like backstage work?
Yes, I believe that was something that was said by Rob and Joe.
Well, I mean,
they threw it back to her.
She doesn't want Rich's dad, or they don't want Rich's dad, coming down to lay the smackdown there.
Well, right. I mean, if technically in his eyes, this might be his future daughter-in-law, so he's going to help her any way he can. So yeah, just by announcing possible legal action, and we know that Richard Holiday's father has only not been able to get him out of one match, which was when he defended the title against Savio Vega in that strap match, but he still found a way to cheat by getting the disgraced NBA ref to again be disgraced in MLW. So even when their backs up against the wall, Richard Holiday is the king of finding ways out of it, and I'm sure Alicia found a way to get what she wanted. So, and regardless, say the interview queen is back, love her, hate her, but her interviews are going to be even shorter than they used to be because now people aren't even answering their questions. So I don't know, Alicia, you better get your priorities straight, my dear. You got to figure out where you're going to be. Are you going to be one half of the Clown couple, or are you going to be all in on the backstage interviewing? You can't have the best of both worlds because it's not working. It's clearly not working.
It's it's a dicey situation for MLW. You don't want that legal action, but Alicia's got. I think she does have her own agenda at this point.
Well, she just shit talking Hammer at every turn, and I get it. But when that has nothing to do with the basis of the interview, why bother? Right.
So she didn't do herself any favors with that one. I'm sure if it goes to legal action, they're going to bring that up as poor performance kind of thing. So we'll see what happens in this match as it happens right now.
Absolutely. But I got to talk about Danny and his amazing insult against Philly. He was going to say he was so excited to be back in Philly, but now he just realized he's in a town of bums. The Philly fans are so stupid that they fired the only good coach they ever had in Doc Rivers. Why don't you just hire back? What the hell's his name? God damn it. Oh, it's going to bother me because I know him very well.
I was going to say, I don't follow basketball, so I had no idea.
James Harden. Thank you. It came to me. Why don't you just hire back James Harden to give him a max contract? So yeah, Philly fans not liking that. The fact that he shit all over the 76ers in under 30 seconds, and he threw out like a good 5 or 6 insults.
Yeah, he went off on the Philly people. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it absolutely was. But the Von Eriks had enough of that. They came running out. They busted up 5150's party, started a little throwdown. And what I love best about this is how Hustle and Power, they didn't come running out after. No, they sauntered to the ring. They gave a couple fans some daps. Then they dropped the belts. Then they took out 5150. And the coolest part of this match, in my opinion, was the stare down between the Von Eriks and Hustle and Power right before we had that little, toe-to-toe back and forth. shots to the head and stuff like that. It was cool to see that because we hadn't seen these 4 guys in the same ring other than Battle Royal or Battle Riot. Sorry. So this was a take of what the tag team division could be. What was once a very thin division still is a thin division, but you know what? Hustle and Power versus the Von Erichs, and now you add Los Maximos to the repertoire of 5150. It's a decent division now.
They're adding some girth to that division for sure.
Yeah, so this match was kind of, it was subpar for me. A lot of discontent. I didn't even really hear the bell ring because there was so many fights before the actual match started. I'm not sure when the match started, but regardless, to say that 5150 had their moments, the Von Erichs had their moments, but ultimately it ended with a double team spike driver, if you will, with EJ and Duca just slamming Danny Limelight down to the ground on Calvin Tankman's shoulder, almost like a sledgehammer. And Limelight was out 1, 2, 3, and Hustle and Power retained. And then right after that, Los Maximos got in the ring and started to attack Hustle and Power, but it didn't last too long because Hustle and Power pretty much chased into the back and handled their business. So Hustle and Power are still your MLW tag team champions. Like I said, this match was a little bit chaotic to the point where I really couldn't understand much of what was going on, and not knowing when the match officially started, it took me right out of it to the point where when the win happened, I was like, okay, cool. Like now we can just move on.
Yeah, I think this was less about the match and more about the Los Maximos building that for Battle Riot. So yeah, it was a little messy, but it wasn't the worst match I've ever seen. And like I said, it wasn't about the match; it was about that interaction with Los Maximos and that build for Battle Riot. So you know what? It's fine. Danny got pinned, but he's a fighter. He'll be back at it. And I think Hustle and Power will be holding on to those belts for a little bit longer.
Absolutely. I could totally see that for sure. I think their reign is not going to be short-lived. But I will say this, is that, again, the intriguing matchups that are happening now, like I wouldn't mind seeing Los Maximos go at 5150. And I got to say, Homicide, or Hernandez as he's called now, he looked really good. I almost thought for a second there that he was actually going to Razor's Edge Calvin Tankman right before Nduka got in there, but he had Tankman up pretty decent, and to be holding 300 plus pounds over your shoulder like that for a good 10 seconds, got to give it up to Hernandez. He looked good.
He's no spring chicken either. You're right. He looked fucking good. I agree with you. Great to see. Hopefully Slices on the bed, and we'll get him back sometime soon.
Absolutely. Another cool piece of, I guess, vignette, if you will, was Myron Reed's Davey Richards shooting the shit backstage. And Davey says, we'd love to have you. I'll send you all the details. Myron says, be honored to be there. And we find out that Myron is now going to be training with Davey's team, his MMA team, or at his gym.
Team Ambition.
Team Ambition. Yeah, he's going to be training with them. So that'll definitely add some flavor to an already great skill set for Myron Reed, which is cool because I kind of like that. And I wouldn't mind, you actually texted me about this today. You told me Myron Reed versus Davey Richards, book it. And I'm okay with that. I don't know if Davey can pretty much do.
No. That's not what I said.
Oh, no. Sorry. You said Kane and Richards.
I said I can see Davey Richards beating Kane for the open weight title, but then I could see Kane and Mr. Thomas immediately going after Hustle and Power with the tag titles. And I think that would be a perfect transition for them because they've got that heat. They've got that beef. Mr. Thomas is working now. Bring a couple more titles to the Boumaye Fight Club. I don't know. I could see that happening, but we shall see.
All right, cool. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry, I like that. I like that idea. I did like that idea for sure. Want to talk about the Madskrueger promo? I mean, it was pretty much typical shit. You
could understand him though.
Yeah, you could. He pretty much said war is all he knows. He was born into it. That's why Contra sought him out and recruited him. And he will end this war, and he will end Fatu once and for all. We've heard it 1,000 times, but yes, you're right. This time it was very audible, and we could actually hear it as opposed to just hearing it. So yeah,
I think it was a more natural manipulation of his voice as opposed to a processing of his voice with some sort of computer shit. Yeah. I think it was just him doing like a little bit of a deeper growl kind of thing, and it was much more easier to hear. You can do the processing stuff, but you got to go light on it because you do too much and it just becomes too muddy and can't understand them.
It becomes what we've experienced for the last 2 years with this character.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And another weird sequence before we get into the main event, Enzo going to his car with, I guess, his girlfriend or a lady friend, and they're asking him about, Battle Riot. Going to enter Battle Riot. He's all involved. And then his girlfriend says, babe, someone hit your car. And then he looks over at the car, and I don't know how he knew, but by the dent in the car, he started saying, does anybody drive a Cadillac? Who drives a Cadillac?
No, a black Cadillac.
Yes.
So tell me how with your black Jeep, you got hit by a black, and you know it was a black Cadillac. Get the fuck out of here.
It was a weird sequence, very weird sequence.
Yeah, no, it was that he didn't know it was a Cadillac. Come on. Who are you trying to fool
here? He had a
here?
side camera, bro. You don't know.
Doesn't have no side camera.
All right, fair enough. I'm just trying to explain the sequence where it makes a little bit more sense, but fine.
It doesn't. It didn't make sense. So that was my problem with. Oh, could you said could have been a red Cadillac or could have been something else, but like black on black. How do you know you got hit by a black car, and how do you know it was Cadillac? You don't know.
But then at the end of the sequence, instead of being angry, he looks scared and says, "Get in the car, babe. Just get in the car." And I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now?
Because they said Jacob Fatu drives a black Cadillac.
Oh, I didn't hear that part. I didn't hear that part. It was inaudible.
Yeah. Yeah, Jacob Fatu drives a black Cadillac. So Enzo don't want none of that.
None of that. You don't want none of that for sure. A great sequence, though. Probably my favorite vignette or spot of the night. Richard Holiday's on the phone with a talent agency that rejected him. And now he's excited to say that another agency picked him up, and he's already got conversations for a Lifetime movie. He's got conversations about a possible cologne, rarefied air cologne, if you will.
Which is just his natural scent.
Just his natural scent, but bottled. It was just genius. And then he began to tell the former agent that rejected him all about how he was the first person in 3 years to pin Alex Hammerstone, and how he's this close to becoming the MLW Heavyweight Champion. Right now, this man is firing on all cylinders to the point where he can do no wrong. And I know people who watch the show, they're going to be like, oh, these guys are going off again on Richard Holiday and how great he is. But he really is. If you listen to the psychology and the simple wordplay that he uses, Richard Holiday is the best talker on the mic in MLW. Dare I say top 5 in wrestling today, and no one can touch this guy right now.
And did I hear him correctly at the end, just before he hung up? He said, and no, I don't want to extend my car's warranty.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he did say that. So all in all, just top-notch wordplay by Richard Holiday. And now we get to the main event of the evening. Last week, if you remember, Rob and I did our predictions for this match. I picked Taya. He picked Holiday. He figured Holiday would be the rightful person to carry this division out the gate. I, on the other hand, disagree just based on their connection with Mexico and how popular Taya is in Mexico, so forth and so on. Regardless, to say Taya Valkyrie does win the match. It was a decent match. She sold very well. Holiday looked strong even in the loss. And Strange Sangre did get involved, but didn't. Dax and Gangrel were around the ring. Eriks did come out to kind of get on the ropes, but it wasn't to the point where it wasn't unbeneficial to Holiday. Even with that interference or that small distraction, she still looks strong. She will live to fight another day. But your first inaugural MLW Featherweight Champion is your boy's pick, Taya Valkyrie, which makes a lot of sense. If you think about it, logistically, it makes a ton of sense to put the strap on her first.
Well, I mean, she has history with MLW as well, so I understand that. Like they were leveraging that part of her career with them, and yeah, it was I like neither choice was bad. It's not like, oh, why'd you do this when you could have done this? It's just like, it's good either way. The match was pretty good. I didn't have any complaints about it. I thought it was, in terms of marketing and getting more eyes on the product again, Taya is a great choice. And I hope that that she's a defending champion. Let's put it that way. I want to see that belt get defended like regularly, not like 3 months from now she has one title defense kind of thing.
Absolutely. I feel like with the strap being on her, I think it'll be definitely more available on a semi-weekly or even once a month basis for sure, 100%. But yeah, like the choice was clear and obvious, like you said, the history that's there. But also, I mean, even though a lot of people are assuming that she's going to go to AEW where John is, doesn't necessarily make it so. I mean, if she wanted to, she would have jumped ship already. I think with Taya, she's quite content in having these small TV appearances. She could still do stuff with Impact, which she's, been seen once or twice over there as well. I think Taya just doesn't want to keep all her eggs in one basket anymore. And I think she may be done with the big organizations, if you will, the bigger organizations, because sometimes the smaller organizations take a lot better care of you, not financially, but in just terms of character freedom and also working around your indie schedule. I know she's had a lot of fun being back on the indies again.
Absolutely.
So MLW does allow, much like Impact, more of a relaxed schedule in terms of where wrestlers can do their dates and still be able to take other bookings if they want to.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you. MLW, I think, tends to do their tapings in batches, so it's like, you're here for these tapings, and then you're not doing tapings for another 3 weeks, and you can go off and make your money and do your thing. It's also important to remember that not everybody that like shows up on AEW is like automatically a contracted employee. Like, you can show up and do a few spots and still go make your money elsewhere. You don't have to be like signed exclusive with AEW. And also, there's the fact that I do not know anything about their personal lives because I don't generally care about that kind of stuff. But I believe she's like 37, 38 years old. If they do decide they want to have a kid, she's probably around that time too. So she might be wanting to keep her options a little open so that if she decides to have a child, she can do so.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't they want to start a family? That'd be one, good looking baby. That's for sure. It would definitely be a gorgeous kid. That's for sure. So I think that's it for this one. Is there anything else you want to say?
Yeah. No, this was a quick one. It was a good episode. It sets everything up. I'm stoked for Battle Riot. I think it's going to be probably one of MLW's best shows to date. There's a lot of good stuff on the card. I really want to see how things pan out here. So yeah, let's fucking get amped for next week.
Absolutely. Since you mentioned Battle Riot, we will say this. A couple more entries have been announced. Myron Reed, Madskrueger, and the greatest wrestler in the world today, Microman. Why did you steal
we got
my
Little
thunder?
Guido.
Why did you steal my thunder, bro?
I don't know. I got your number. I steal your thunder. That's what I do.
You want to tear this asunder?
No, I don't want to tear. Why don't I just go eat some
looking
clay?
At it, you're a blunder.
I can lay by the bay and why don't I just go eat some hay? I can lay by the bay and make things out of clay. I just may. What do you say?
You're a tool.
Yeah, probably like a torque wrench.
No, I'm not going to give it. Torque wrench is key for a lot of people.
That's what I'm saying.
You know that random socket that's so small that people don't know what it fits onto? You're that useless socket in a socket wrench set.
No, I am absolutely not. I'm a torque wrench.
You're not a torque wrench.
Yeah, I am.
All right, guys.
I'm a torque wrench.
All right. Thank you so much. All right, guys. That's it for this one. I'm your host, your boy, George Mackay. You all know my PIC.
I'm Uncle Torque Wrench.
That's it for this week's Rewind. Make sure you subscribe, hit that link, comment. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like about this week's MLW episode. And that's it. Peace, love, and wrestling. We'll see you next week here on MLW Rewind.
Adios.